There are moments in a marriage when the words spoken between two people are not nearly as powerful as the tone in which they are carried, or the subtle gestures that accompany them. We often imagine communication as a simple exchange of sentences, but in truth, it is the vibration underneath the words, the rise and fall of emotion, the movement of our hands, the way our eyes meet or drift away, that determine whether love deepens or drifts. When two people choose each other, they rarely imagine that one day the challenge will not be about the big promises, but about the quiet ways they speak in everyday moments. A marriage does not collapse from a single loud argument. It weakens from years of tones that cut instead of soothe, body language that pushes instead of welcomes, and a pattern of speaking that creates distance instead of connection. Yet the beauty of this truth is that the same small moments that create distance can create closeness. A shift in tone can open the heart. A softening of the shoulders can invite trust. A gentle look can communicate more than paragraphs ever could. Imagine a moment when your partner comes home after a long day. The words you say may be ordinary, but the tone you choose becomes the message. If your voice carries frustration or indifference, your partner hears more than a sentence. They hear a story that says they are not cherished, not welcomed, not seen. But if your tone carries warmth, even if you are tired or overwhelmed, the message changes entirely. It says you matter. It says you are safe here. It says this home is still a place where we return to each other. Tone is not merely sound. It is the emotional fingerprint you leave on your partner's heart. So many couples believe their problem is miscommunication. But often, the words they speak are fine. The real misalignment lies in how the words feel when they land. When your partner hears your tone, they are hearing your intention, your emotional climate, your unspoken truth. And whether you mean it or not, tone has the power to heal or harm. Think about the way you respond during conflict. Not when you are calm, but when your pulse is racing. When your chest tightens. When you feel misunderstood or dismissed. In these moments, tone becomes the battlefield. It becomes sharp, defensive, blunt, or cold, and body language follows. Arms cross, faces tighten, eyes look away. And in these moments, couples often feel like they are speaking different languages, when in reality, their tones have created emotional static that blocks connection. But conflict, like love, is shaped by practice. You can choose a different tone. You can train your voice to remain gentle even when your emotions are heated. You can decide that your love is more important than your pride. And your body language can follow this decision. When you face your partner with open posture, when you lean in instead of away, when you keep your eyes soft rather than guarded, you are silently saying, I am here, even in the discomfort. You matter to me more than the argument. That is the kind of body language that strengthens marriages. Many people underestimate how deeply body language affects trust. A spouse who feels criticized will not respond to logic. But a spouse who feels safe will listen even when you disagree. Safety is not created through the perfect choice of words. It is created by the emotional atmosphere you build with your face, your hands, your tone. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in the middle of a disagreement is take a breath, let your shoulders drop, and look at your partner with softness instead of intensity. That single shift can do more than entire speeches filled with explanations. People do not calm down because they understand your words. They calm down because they feel your presence is no longer a threat. Marriage is, in many ways, a constant invitation to soften. To remember that defending yourself too fiercely can wound the person you vowed to protect. To remember that the goal of communication is not to win but to understand. When you speak, ask yourself what your partner is hearing beneath your words. Are they hearing love, or criticism disguised as advice? Are they hearing reassurance, or exhaustion disguised as silence? Are they hearing openness, or resentment disguised as short responses? Every tone carries intention. Every tone creates emotional impact. And then there is body language. It speaks even when you haven't said a word. Standing over your partner while talking sends a very different message than sitting beside them. Crossing your arms sends a different message than gently placing your hand on your knee and letting your posture stay open. Looking at your phone while they talk tells its own story, one that says, "You are not my priority right now." These small gestures matter, not because they are dramatic, but because they are consistent. The body remembers how often it felt welcomed or dismissed. The heart remembers how often it felt seen or ignored. And in a marriage, those memories shape everything. But this is not a message of blame. It is a message of hope. Because tone and body language are fully within your control. You cannot control your partner's emotions. You cannot control their reactions. But you can control the way you show up. You can control the emotional environment you create with your presence. People often ask how to improve communication in marriage, expecting a list of techniques or well-crafted sentences. But the foundation of communication is emotional safety. When your partner feels safe with you, every conversation becomes easier. When they feel unsafe, even simple conversations feel painful. Emotional safety is built with tone that says I am with you, even when we disagree, and body language that says you are not alone in this moment. Think about the moments that have shaped your relationship. Think about the moments of peace and the moments of tension. Think about how your tone influenced them. Think about how your posture influenced them. Think about how quickly a moment can shift when one person chooses calm instead of anger, warmth instead of coldness, curiosity instead of defensiveness. This is the quiet power that keeps marriages strong. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is listen with your whole body. Not just with your ears, but with your posture, your eyes, your stillness. Listening is not passive. It is the gift of full presence. And the person you love can feel when they have your presence. They can sense when you are with them, not just physically but emotionally. Tone and body language also matter in moments of affection. A compliment said with a distracted tone does not land. A reassurance said with a rushed voice does not soothe. But a gentle tone has the power to repair hurt. A warm tone has the power to melt tension. And a calm tone has the power to bring your partner back from a place of fear or insecurity. Marriage is not sustained by grand gestures. It is sustained by the daily habits of communication that say I choose you, not just with my words, but with my presence. There are couples who love each other deeply but speak in ways that slowly erode their connection. Not because they do not care, but because they underestimate how powerful their tone is. They underestimate how much their partner reads from their eyes, their posture, their sighs, their pauses, their silence. What you communicate when you say nothing often speaks louder than your words. Silence can be comforting, or it can be punishing. A quiet moment can say I'm here with you, or it can say I am shutting you out. The difference lies in body language, in eye contact, in softness. If you want your marriage to grow, do not focus only on what you say. Focus on how you say it. Focus on how you stand, how you sit, how you breathe, how you look at the person you love. Do not underestimate the power of slowing down. When emotions rise, speed becomes dangerous. Voices get louder. Reactions become sharp. But when you slow your tone, when you take just a second to breathe before responding, you shift the entire energy of the conversation. You transform conflict into connection. Marriage needs that kind of intentionality. It needs partners who are willing to say, I will not let my tone be the reason we drift apart. I will not let my posture communicate distance when my heart wants closeness. You are not responsible for being perfect. You are responsible for being aware. And awareness is the beginning of change. The next time you speak to your partner, listen to yourself. Notice the texture of your voice. Notice the rhythm of your breathing. Notice the way your hands move. Notice where your eyes go. These small details are clues to your emotional state. And your emotional state affects the emotional state of the person you love. Marriage is a dance of energy. When one person softens, the other can soften too. When one person escalates, the other often follows. Someone must choose to lead with calm. Someone must choose to be the steady one. And when one partner chooses calmness consistently, it transforms the entire dynamic. Imagine a future where your partner remembers you not as someone who always said the right thing, but as someone whose tone made them feel understood. Someone whose body language made them feel cherished. Someone whose presence brought peace. That is a legacy far stronger than perfect diction or flawless arguments. Tone is a form of love. Body language is a form of devotion. They are the emotional signatures you leave on the heart of the person you promised to share your life with. If you want your marriage to feel safe, warm, connected, then choose your tone with intention. Choose your posture with care. Choose to remember that your partner is not your opponent. They are the one who holds your heart. And hearts need gentleness. They need warmth. They need tone that reassures and body language that embraces. A marriage thrives when both partners realize they are on the same side. And the way you speak tells your partner whether you remember the truth or forget it. So choose to remember it. Every conversation is an opportunity. An opportunity to heal or hurt. To connect or withdraw. To build or break. Your tone and your body language are the tools you use to shape those opportunities. Use them intentionally. There will be days when you fail. Days when your tone cracks with frustration. Days when your arms cross without you noticing. Days when your posture feels defensive because you are tired or stressed or overwhelmed. That is human. That is normal. Marriage does not require perfection. It requires repair. The power of tone and body language is that they can be softened at any moment. You can take a breath in the middle of an argument and say, "I'm sorry." You can open your arms. You can soften your voice. You can look at your partner with love again. Repair begins with tone before it begins with words. And that is what makes a marriage resilient. Love is not just a feeling. It is the way you speak. It is the way you stand. It is the way you breathe through conflict. It is the way you choose warmth even when you feel tension rising. Your tone can be a shelter. Your body language can be a safe place. And when both partners offer that, marriage becomes not just a relationship, but a refuge. A place where two people can return to themselves and to each other again and again, strengthened by the simple choice to communicate with presence, intention, and love.